Um, knowing other languages is like, I don't know how you say it. It just it's almost like though the way that you can think of learning and knowing other languages, the way that you can think of them is like as like learning and knowing different computer programming languages. So it's like you have one person speaking in C++, you've got one person speaking in Python, and you've got one person speaking in C sharp. And each time a person who speaks in in C++ meets someone in C++ or in C sharp meets someone in who speaks Python, there's going to be like a lot of buffering in the bit rate at which data is transmitted. There's going to be a lot of buffering. Whereas if someone who speaks C++ meets someone who speaks C sharp, there might be a little bit less buffering between the exchange of data between them, because C++ and C sharp are similar. But obviously, if a person who speaks C++ meets someone who knows someone who originally spoke Python but now has taken the time out to learn C++, the exchange of information, it'll go that much more smoothly. And so that's kind of the way that I look at languages a little bit. And so, like I'd been forced to try and learn Spanish in high school, in junior high school and in high school. I didn't get it at that time. When I went in college and they required us to learn a language, I was just like, okay, well, I'm into J-pop and I'm into Japanese pop culture and video games and stuff. I'm gonna take Japanese and like see how a non-romantic language is, a non, like a language that was just completely different. I was like, maybe it'll be easier. Ended up really liking it. Took it for maybe about 3 years. I took it for about 3 years. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I found out that I was good with like enunciation, and it definitely helped to have to do it in a classroom setting where like someone was quizzing me and like the whole nine, like forcing me to keep up and everything. That definitely helps. And then after college, after college, I I went to look. There's a monkey. There's a little gorilla inside Jungle Love. I went. I decided to instead of I didn't understand how languages need to be learned, or what the right way was to like study. And so after I left college, I didn't continue with Japanese. Like I didn't move to Japan or anything. Um, I traveled a bit, and after I traveled, then uh, that's when I decided to pick up German, to start learning German, and that was actually really good. That was a lot of fun. I learned at this this school that is an extension of New York University. New York University has a German learning center called Deutsches Haus, uh, and which just means German house. And I got to learn with like this their German school was so reputable that like I was sitting in a classroom full of like maybe there were like 7 of us, and one of those people was like the nanny to the German ambassador's kids or whatever, like to the current German ambassador's kids. Like she was from England, like her native language was English, and she needed to learn Germany, and she was oh shoot, ooh, she needed to learn German, um and she went there. Like people who like work at the United Nations and like need to learn German, like that's the school that they go to. And it's like a very small classroom setting, a very like intimate classroom setting. Where you've just got maybe like 6 or 7 other classmates, a very small classroom, and you've got basically your own, like your own private lessons, and the teachers are different, but the best teacher that I had there was maybe she assigned us like some ridiculous amount of vocabulary every week, like 400 words a week. She would assign us, like she assigned us a ridiculous amount of vocabulary words. And because she had given us so much material to have to cover, not only that, but like if you didn't know the vocabulary words, you couldn't do the homework. And so she assigned us like such a ridiculous amount of work that it made up for not living in Germany. And so like you found yourself picking up German very quickly because of how much material you were responsible for. Even if you just did classes once a week, you were just responsible for so much material that that the only way to stay on top of it was to pour yourself into German, in the same manner as if for as many hours as if you might have lived there. And so I ended up studying German there, and I left college when I was earlier, and I re-enrolled to finish up, and so I actually continued continued German there. Continued German at my school, at my university, and I did German for about 3 years as well, and also really enjoyed it. And then independently, and then on the side, possibly in between those years, I'm not sure, I took Chinese. I went to New York City's Chinatown has a how do you say, they have a public school, like a nonprofit school that teaches Chinese children how to speak Chinese, but they also have adult classes at low cost, at like very low cost, like $60 for 3 months of lessons, like very, very low cost. Especially for New York. These teachers are volunteering, like they're not really being paid. And that was the class that I took. The class that I took there. It's like right on Mott Street. Like a big red school building. The class that I took there was spoken only. It was no written. And I know from personal experience, I've never been good with like picking up languages just through listening and speaking. Like I need to have the symbols. I need to be able to look at the symbols and memorize the symbols in order to pick up the words. And so I did not do well. I did not do well in it. I think I only took it for maybe like a year, and then I left it alone. And I continued on with life. I work in IT. I continued replacing people's keyboards, fixing people's PC issues. And I'm trying to think what happened. I got to a point where I was like, okay, should I go to grad school or should I like go back to college? Like what should I do? What should I do with the rest of my time? And so, the question I always ask people, well, like when people ask me what they should be doing, I usually tell them that, like, if you were to hit the lotto or what have you, after you partied it up and everything, after you finish relaxing and vacationing and everything, how would you spend your time? And whatever the answer to that question is, that's probably what you should be doing. And so, language learning, I noticed, I came to notice was something that I really enjoyed in life. And so I was like, what I'm going to do, rather than like enroll in grad school right away, because I wasn't entirely sure I wanted to do that. I would have probably gone to law school, probably would have applied to law school. I decided to just take time out and just study Chinese. And so yeah, it's been 4 years, and I'm pretty much just about on the cusp of being able to like use it in like some relative fluence. And that's one of the things like that I wanted to do in life. Like if I can, of course, I feel like there's enough years that I should be able to just keep learning different languages for the rest of my life, regardless of whether I'm working or I'm not working or I'm retired or, like I'm in a nursing home, I'm in like I'm, wherever I happen to be, like, I feel like that's an easy one, like just crack open a book and just start learning the next language. So that's what I've been doing these past few years, and I don't know, I guess I might start making videos with Chinese audio soon. In any case, we'll talk to everyone in a little bit. Running into the supermarket right now.